This is DaveNoseworthyMMA.
The injury bug strikes again. A few days ago, it was announced Max Holloway would be forced out of UFC 222 in the title fight versus Frankie Edgar. In this sport, the loss of high-profile fights is nothing new. I don't know if it's just me or not, but fights being cancelled due to injuries seems more prevalent now than it's ever been. And although sometimes a fighter pulling out of a bout only to be replaced with someone else can make for a cool story and a great setup for a fight, most of the time these cancellations suck, and this is one of those fights. For me, as big of a Max Holloway fan as I am, it's Frankie Edgar that I feel for the most. In this day and age of being in the entertainment era of MMA, a lot of the shine gets taken up by the big personalities of the sport, which is fine. I've come to accept that this is the way things are for now, but Frankie Edgar is a fighter we should all be paying closer attention to. No doubt, all hardcore fans appreciate Frankie for how great he is and the amazing things he has accomplished, but with so many events and fights taking place each year, coupled with the fact that the news and stories in MMA are plentiful and never-ending and ever-changing on a day-to-day basis, even some of the heroes in the sport get lost in the shuffle. And I feel like Edgar is a prime example of a true OG in this game, just not getting enough attention. So I was particularly excited when I heard that Edgar was finally going to get a much-deserved crack at the featherweight championship. And the fact that it's against such a great champion and an extremely tough test in Max Holloway made this fight all the more intriguing. Title shots have been unfairly evading Frankie on multiple occasions over the past few years, whether it be for promotional or political reasons. There's also the fact that there was a time not so long ago that it was Edgar who was the rightful challenger to take on Conor McGregor for the featherweight title. This was before McGregor was stripped of the strap. Not to mention that back in 2012, when he was the reigning and defending lightweight champion, he lost the belt in a controversial decision to Benson Henderson. He was awarded an instant rematch because of how very close that fight was, but only ended up losing that fight in an even more controversial decision. The first fight was hard to call, but I always believed with certainty that Edgar deserved to win that rematch and get his title back. So, needless to say, a shot at an undisputed UFC title was a long time coming for Frankie. It makes for a tough pill to swallow when you have so much anticipation for a fight as a fan. So my first thought when I heard the announcement was, do not take another fight, Frankie. Wait for Max and have your next fight be for the title. I acknowledge that as a general rule, sitting out and waiting for fights is seldom the right call, no matter what the case is. The landscape changes so often, people get hurt, and you just cannot rely on waiting for someone else and risk being inactive for so long. But I felt this situation was different. Because of how many times Frankie has gotten the raw deal, I felt like you cannot take the risk of just not waiting for Max. But that was until today when I heard Frankie's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. He was telling Helwani about how much of an OG Frankie was, talking about how Edgar doesn't care if there's a title or not. He's not waiting for Max, and that come March 3rd at UFC 222, he wants to fight no matter who it's against. Abdelaziz went on to say that this is the type of confidence you should have as an athlete. If you believe you are the best, you'll fight anybody, anywhere, no matter what the circumstances are. It was a much-needed reminder of who I'm talking about here, as well as a reminder of one of the many reasons why us MMA fans hold Frankie in such high regard. It's that very trait of being willing to fight any top contender and risk losing that title fight once again, coupled with the extremely exciting fight style, super toughness, and perseverance Edgar shows every fight, that makes that man deserving of a lot more attention and a hell of a lot more limelight.